Broncos fans, here's the deal. I'm going to be real with you guys. It may just be the preseason, but who gives a damn? If the Broncos are winning and they're outscoring opponents like they are, then why not cause for celebration? Why not enjoy the ride while it lasts? So go ahead and subscribe, because you know what? Right now we're just gaslighting each other up all over the place, enjoying the dominating victories. So subscribe down below so we can give you more happy Broncos news and content throughout the preseason and into the regular season. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown. I'm Matthew Peterson, and after week 2 of the preseason, Denver is 2-0, and we've got a new batch of winners and losers, this time coming from the last matchup against the Seattle Seahawks, who looked a lot more like sea chickens after that matchup against the Broncos, which only one team really came to play, it looked like, and that was the Broncos. So we got some winners right out of the gate, and let's get started here with quarterback Teddy Bridgewater. TB, gloves, everything was just brilliant. Simply put, he definitely closed the gap in this QB race between himself and himself and Locke. Started the game, played 23 snaps, put together some nice scoring drives, moved the ball up and down the field, and here's the deal. He came into this game knowing he was going to get the start simply because it was his turn, right? Locke started the first game. Bridgewater would get to start the second game. Had to make the most of it, and he did so with a couple great plays and ultimately making himself putting himself, further in this quarterback race to try and win the battle. Now, head coach Vic Fangio took notice of this, and here's what he had to say after the game. Both of them, Drew and Teddy, have done well, as you guys have seen, and they've made a hard decision. So we'll give it a thorough thought. We've been discussing it with coaches, with general manager George Paton all along, and we will continue to do that. Quarterback race is not stopping, and what I mean by this is maybe after week 2, Broncos fans and everyone have a better idea of what the starting quarterback position would look like going into the third and final preseason game. I don't think we are any closer to our conclusion than we were at the beginning. And so let me know, guys, down in the comment section who you think will be the starting quarterback come week 1 of the regular season. If you think it's going to be Drew Lock, give me an L down below. Not for loss, but for Lock. If you think it's going to be TB, Teddy Bridgewater, give me a B down in the comments for who you think will be the starting quarterback come week 1 of the regular season. Other winners coming up here. How about the 7th round draft pick from this past NFL draft? Jonathon Cooper, the Ohio State Buckeye, was flying all over the field. Couple sacks, forced fumble. I mean, he was just dynamite, right? You really can't put it down any less than that. Cooper made himself known and really put himself in this conversation of a 53-man roster lock. Had not seen much of Cooper coming into this game, but everyone knows his name now, especially in that second half. Fourth down sack for Cooper. Really did all he could to solidify himself in that 53-man roster, and I think he may have done so. He's one of my biggest winners after this one. Other winners, how about the sophomore breakout candidate, Jerry Jeudy, the wideout. Didn't play much, but didn't need to play much. 2 receptions, 30 yards. He was really just flying all over the field, had a couple great plays, really made his presence known. So Jeudy definitely one of the biggest winners, looking to make himself known in his second season in the NFL. After kind of an up and down rookie season, had some flashes, maybe wanted a little more out of him, but definitely on track for a great second year. Now, as for more of a veteran presence, how about the running back Royce Freeman? He was someone who was really on the bubble, a potential roster cut, a veteran casualty. But right now, what we saw out of Freeman was making himself available for the whole entire NFL. And what do I mean by that? Whether or not he makes the Broncos roster, at this point, he's playing for someone else's roster if he does not make the Denver 53-man roster. And what do I mean by that? Everyone in the NFL is watching everyone else's games. And so if they're a little short at that running back position, injuries inevitably will come, especially at that running back spot. Royce Freeman putting himself together a nice demo reel, a nice highlight tape for other teams to take notice of. 9 carries, 27 yards. That does not jump out to you really all that much, 3 yards per carry. But how about 5 grabs for 44 yards? You put that together, you got a nice 1-2 punch right there with Royce Freeman. Other honorable mentions now for winners from week 2 of the preseason. Dalton Risner, the big hog up front in the offensive line. He gets some love. He gets a touchdown, picked it up after a Williams fumble, scooped and scored. And I don't know what the prop was for Risner scoring, but if you took it, you yourself are a rich man right now. Other winners are Deshaun Williams on the defensive line. Got a nice INT. You don't get that very often when you're playing that close to the ball, believe it or not. But Williams makes a nice grab and gets himself on the stat sheet for an interception. And then the final honorable mention is going to be wide receiver Seth Williams. He just was part of one of the best plays of the entire game. Came with Drew Lock at the helm. Had a nice Patrick Mahomes-esque flick to Williams, who made a couple moves, a nice hurdle, moved himself down the field. And anytime you make a play in preseason, it's going to get noticed because you don't get that many chances to make that many plays when you don't get to play the whole game. But let me know who you think the biggest winner was from the second preseason game for the Broncos. Hop down in the comments if you think it was maybe Teddy Bridgewater putting himself further in this quarterback race, keeping up with Drew Lock, or maybe it was Jonathon Cooper, the 7th-round draft pick out of Ohio State, who had a great game all over the field and had that nice sack on 4th down to stop the Seahawks drive. Broncos fans, I know you love the Broncos, and I know you love the wins right now, but we need more subscribers so we can give you more Broncos content. So go down. It's really simple. Follow my instructions. It's a 2-step path. Ready? You go over with your mouse. You hover over the subscribe button. It's going to go from red to gray, which is going to make you a happy Broncos fan, getting more Denver Broncos content going into week 1 of the regular season. Guys, today's Broncos breakdown is brought to you in part by our good friends over at BetUS. Simply put, it's one of the best sports books I've ever worked with, interacted with. It's awesome. They've got great deals for you, including this awesome deposit bonus. Let me lay it out to you. It's really simple. All you got to do is go to the link down below, chatsports.com/bet. Do that. Check 1. Check 2, use the promo code Broncos125, and what they're going to do for you is they're going to give you a 125% deposit bonus. What does that mean in English? If you put $100 in, they're going to add an extra $125 on top. That gets you $225 to play with. All you have to do, use the link down below, and then use the promo code Broncos125. You have to do those 2 things to make it happen, and then once you do, you could be a millionaire, billionaire, I don't know. If you bet on the Broncos -5 from week 2, you were sitting pretty when they won by 24. No sweat there at all. So the Broncos covered their side of things. Then the over-under was set at 33. I don't know how, but in preseason, I guess you can go beneath 33. So the under hit at 30. You put those 2 together, you got yourself a pretty good Saturday evening. So make sure you use that for the Broncos going forward. You want to bet on the next preseason game against the Rams or into the regular season, whatever you want to do. They got a bunch of great futures over at BetUS. So check it out. Use the link down below and use the promo code Broncos125. Ladies and boys, I've got some bad news for you. In life, we have winners, and unfortunately, we have losers. And it's tough to find losers when you win 30-3, but we were able to scavenge up some losers. And let's get started with QB2 in this game. That is Drew Lock. The reason why Drew Lock's on here, not so much because of his play, but because if Bridgewater's going to thrive, it's like a seesaw. If one guy's going up, someone's going down. You just can't have it both ways. Came in relief, played 27 snaps, and was fine out there. Honestly, I don't think he did a bad job by all means. He didn't have much to work with, too. You know, it's kind of that saying goes, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Not a stupid game, but Drew Lock was out there with a lot of the 2nd, 3rd, and even the 4th-string guys, so didn't have a ton of real weapons. He wasn't throwing to people he was going to be. There was no Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton on the field, pretty much, right? No Melvin Gordon for him. So he was working with some of the lower-string guys, and didn't really impress all that much, but can you be surprised? No, I don't think so. I mean, this is what you get from when you put average talent out there for Drew Lock to throw around with. You're going to get average results. And so overall, I think Drew Lock was fine, but this was kind of like week 1, except the roles were reversed. Lock got to start the game, which means he got all the nice, big, shiny toys. This case, it was Bridgewater who got to throw to Jerry Jeudy, and so Lock not throwing any big names, and so you get kind of mediocre results. Other losers, though, not a ton from a big win. How about Tyree Cleveland, though? Here's a guy who came into training camp, into the preseason, a roster bubble player, looking to make some moves, trying to make the roster, and didn't see much of the field at all. 0 targets for him when playing wide receiver. Only got 1 shot at a kick return, mostly because the Seahawks did nothing, right? They put up 3 points, so you get 2 kick returns overall. And for Cleveland, you need chances. You need opportunities to showcase yourself. And when you don't get that many opportunities on special teams and you don't make much of your offensive snaps, it's not going to bode well for you. So in a really tight wide receiver depth chart here, you look at the first 4 names at the top, roster locks, done. Now I'm looking for 3 more, which means I'm looking at Deontay Spencer, Trinity Benson, Tyree Cleveland, Seth Williams, and Hinton. Those 5 guys kind of fighting for 3 spots. Deontay Spencer looks good. Trinity Benson's been kind of the training camp MVP. And then you got Seth Williams and Tyree Cleveland, who are some younger players. It's tough to say, but definitely not a great preseason outing for Tyree Cleveland. But you know what's been fun this preseason? The Broncos just dominating. It's not fair. I mean, it looks like one team's playing tackle and one team's playing flag. I know. Pump the brakes. It's just preseason. I'm not blind to this. I understand that. But hey, at the end of the day, there's just saying in football, you can only beat the man lined up in front of you. So if the Broncos want to go out and dominate, why not? Why not enjoy the wins a little bit? Because here's the other side of the coin. Even though it's just preseason, you don't want to lose 30-3. That's just going to speak a lot of volume to maybe the coaching staff and the second stringers, the depth. Whatever it is, if you get a choice of winning or losing by 27, I don't care if it's week 1 of the preseason or week 3, I'm going to take the winning option. But hop down in the comments one more time. Let me know who you think the highlight of the preseason has been so far. Could it be Surtain with that nice pick 6 against the Vikings back in week 1? KJ Hamler had that 80-yard touchdown grab. Or how about Dalton Risner, the offensive lineman, getting a score? Because the big guys, they just don't get enough love. Those teddy bears need some extra hugs. But let me know down in the comments who you think has been the highlight of the preseason so far for the Broncos.